Come on, baby, you got it, you got it.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Catching Up with the Catrons. This is episode number 3.
Yeah. Over 3 weeks of quarantine.
Well over 3 weeks of quarantine.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're working our way through it.
We're getting there. I feel like we're getting close.
Yeah.
I know everybody's ready
so.
for this thing to be over with.
Yeah, I sure am ready. Ready to get out of the house.
Yeah, how was your week?
It's better. Kind of started off a little rough. I think I talked about last week. I had a neighbor taking a tree down, and so I spent most of last weekend chainsawing and chopping wood. And I think it was probably about Tuesday, I woke up and my face was swollen. My right eye was almost swollen shut, and I had gotten poison ivy all over my face. Shannon got poison ivy. My wife, she got poison ivy right away, and so I kind of anticipated it coming. But here's a tip for you guys: if you're out there chainsawing up some wood from a tree that fell down from these recent storms, if you're not sure, just pretend that there's poison ivy all over it.
Yeah.
Wear a long sleeve shirt, pants. I should have wore a hat and a mask. I had some safety goggles on, but yeah, it was pretty bad there for a while. So I went to the doctor. They hooked me up on some steroids, which has helped a lot. But the one thing, so the doctor kind of gave us a warning. He goes, guys, here's just something to be aware of is people tend to get a little cranky and edgy when they start taking this stuff. And I've been raging, like about ready to get outside and just like start flipping tires and
yeah, that's exactly
all this.
That's exactly what you need during your quarantine, just a little extra edginess.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna get ripped when I get out of this quarantine. Holy steroids.
Start knocking out push-ups, man.
1,000 a day. How's your week been going?
It's been good. It's been really good. Busy with real estate. I think I've gotten 3 offers accepted under contract. I've got 2 closings here today. Some good friends of ours are getting the keys to their new home, and I'm super pumped for them.
Yeah.
You know, kind of one of the bummers about this whole quarantine and us not being able to be together is getting a photo with them with a sold sign out front. So I don't know, somehow I'm going to have to figure out that and get that sold sign. I mean, everybody loves that. That's the memory. It's the very first memory that you create at the house, you know, you and the sold sign. So got that going on. I'm super excited for them. I was out showing houses last Saturday, and we get done. I was over in the Meridian Kessler area, and I turn the corner, pull up to a stoplight, and I see 10 people standing there. And I know it was 10 because I counted. And I'm like, you can't do that. And across the street, I see 2 cops standing there looking at each other like, well, what are we going to do about this? And then about the same time, 5 more people come up and join that group, and they've all got signs and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, man, this is just getting crazy. People they're dying to get out. They're doing whatever, and a little mini protest or something. I forgot all about it. Woke up the next day, and apparently that little group had turned into hundreds of people all standing outside the governor's house protesting this whole quarantine thing.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Something funny too, like guys wearing full-on masks and gloves and goggles and hats and all the protective stuff, holding signs that this is a hoax. Well, then what are you so scared of, man? If this is a hoax, why are you wearing all that stuff? So
I've been seeing that protests popping up all over the country for this. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the great things about our country, right? Is our ability to protest, freedom of speech, and that kind of thing. But
yeah,
I feel like there's maybe not enough information out there, and there's a little bit of a disconnect going on. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. It's been interesting several weeks with this whole quarantine thing.
That's crazy. We're getting through it.
We're getting through it. And a lot of people are doing a lot of creative things during this quarantine to just have fun, entertain themselves, and to support kind of the local community, the local scene, the local network. So, Seth, why don't you get us caught up on what Indy 11 has got going on right now?
Yeah, so in the music, entertainment, sports world section that we've got, I don't have a whole lot this week, but one thing that I saw that was just really cool, our local soccer team in Indy 11, their organization is just really doing everything they can to help our community right now. And I know you and I both miss getting out there and hanging out with the Indy 11 family and the crowd and seeing the games, but they're still pushing and doing everything they can for us in the community. And they have put out a new T-shirt. It's called the 11 Cares shirt. And I think this is just so awesome. What they're doing is they're donating the majority of these proceeds are going to go to benefit the Community Health Network Foundation that Lisa Bornstein, their caregiver assistance fund, has put together. And so the majority of these proceeds are going to go to actually help the front lines, the assistant workers for the coronavirus.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the Lisa Bornstein Caregiver Assistance Fund, they're offering financial assistance to community caregivers, people that are facing like sudden hardships. And all these funds are going to be helping them cover some of these out-of-pocket costs, food and transportation, post-trauma family support.
That is
so
awesome.
The proceeds are really going to an awesome cause. I'm going to share a picture here of what the shirt looks like. I think they did a great job with the shirt.
Indy 11 does such a good job of supporting everything that's going on in our community, finding a need, hopping in, supporting people, not just organizations in the community, but individuals too. I've seen a ton of stuff going on with them over the last several months where they're just doing a lot for Indianapolis and the people that are supporting them. So I love it. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things they've done recently. Great looking shirt. I mean, $25, you can't beat it, and it's going to the cause. I'm probably gonna be buying a shirt today or tomorrow. So
I'm buying one today.
I posted a link for the shirt on my Facebook page, but I'll post another link again so you guys can get to it. But again, thanks Indy 11. You guys are just kicking butt.
That's like the Scrubs blue too.
Yeah, I think they did a great job with the design of it.
I'm gonna buy a couple of those, pass them out to some people I know on the front lines. It's pretty awesome. Well, I'm super excited for our first guest on Catching Up with the Catrons. This is where we talk a little bit about the local business scene, what's kind of going on, small business, big business, everything going on locally. So one of our really good friends, one of our very favorite venues in town. This guy has been a huge supporter of Seth and I and our band, the Twin Cats, ever since we got started. And he has just been kind of a rock, I think, for our community around here in the Broad Ripple area. So I'm super excited to bring on Mike Quarto, the owner of the Mousetrap. Everybody give it up for Mike Quarto.
I guess the reason I got into it, I've been in the restaurant business forever. Originally I wanted to be restaurant business, but I always knew my whole life, although I'm not a musician, I want to be involved with music. So this is just a natural progression, and then once you're on that wave, you just kind of get forced to go farther and farther, and you guys pushed me along to where we are now. You guys, we all go way back, and there's quite a few handfuls of people that helped push us along over all these years.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's great. So what do you think's kind of led to your success? There's not many businesses out there that last 18 years. What do you think's kind of contributed to what I would call a successful business?
We've talked about it before. I believe that humanity wants to reciprocate goodness, and I think the way you treat your customer base and you treat your employees is going to come back to you, and it's come back to us in a big way over this whole thing. The way we've been able to we've quadrupled our food business.
Wow.
We got great food, but
yeah,
that wasn't our big thing before. People are taking care of us. They're reaching out to us because they know that we always took care of them. We never had, we're not the kind of place that we're completely diverse and eclectic, and everybody comes in there just to have happy times and good vibes. And I think that's what keeps the place around. It's the love that comes back, and it's amazing. I mean, I got goosebumps just like thinking about it right now.
I actually do too. Yeah.
Beyond words. Yeah. But that's what it is. I think it's how you treat people. Everybody wants to be treated with respect, and they'll give it right back when they can,
Yeah. I think if every business was built on that thought, they'd all last at least 18 years, All right. So let's see. A next question here. First, I think I know the answer to this, but were you one of the lucky owners to get any of that first round stimulus money
No, it was not.
that was supposed to go to small businesses?
Yeah.
And I think we've all heard some of the stuff that's going on with the news and not so small of businesses getting that money. Sounds like a couple of them actually turned in the money, which is kind of a nice
I think a lot
gesture.
more will too.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, I heard that, I don't know if it's gotten approved. Maybe it got approved today, but there's a second round
yeah,
that's coming out. Do you think you'll be able to get your hands on any of that?
I'm fairly confident. We had to go kind of a new route. My advice for all small businesses is to find, if you don't have a great relationship with your banker, find someone outside of your big banks. Some of these smaller banks are able to process these applications a lot quicker. And that was the problem, I think, with a lot of people is that, if you're not a big business, a big small business, or you don't have that relationship with your banker, then you get put in a stack of applications and you're left behind, So when this second round runs out, I don't know, hopefully there's a third round because I think we're going to need it. But you have to be on top, So that's what I did, and I feel pretty comfortable with it. I'll find out in the next couple of days. I'm nervous, but I feel a lot more comfortable now than I did before.
Did they give you any sort of like deadline on when you'd find out if you were a lucky one?
No, it's more just calling back and forth and getting all your ducks in a row, make sure every detail is done, And these guys were able to, because they're a smaller company, were able to personally, have that back and forth with me, and just. I think a lot of people are going to end up, because there's so many regulations now, a lot of people are going to end up with a T not crossed, and they could be turned down. They could be put in the back of the pile. I worry about that, So having somebody that you can really talk to and work your way through, all the way through it, helps a lot.
You think it's the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing? The people who keep bugging will get the money first?
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Of the group, there was only one person in the group in the IIVA venue group that was approved. I'm not going to say who it is, but that was because he had a personal relationship with his banker, and his banker was a good client, good customer, and he was a little bit of he had a group behind him where he could get all this paperwork together quickly.
Huh. Well, that's a pretty good tip.
Other 15 of us, not so far.
Well, man, I'm crossing all my fingers and all my toes for you, man. I hope you get it. I know you guys need it.
We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. Either way, we'll get by either way. We'll make it happen. That's
Well,
how
I know you guys will.
In the sand, you got to be proactive and go get it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and that
I
kind of
had a question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be like the biggest change after all this clears up for music venues, bars like yourself? Are you guys going to try to do more virtual concerts, or are you going to try to push to kind of bring things back to normal?
I don't know. It's I don't think virtual concerts does much good for a place like me.
Yeah.
I want normalcy, obviously. I think everybody does, but I'm not going to push it either. We got a long ways to go.
Yeah, I think
split shows where there's 50 people in the venue at a time for a 2-hour period, and then a second 2-hour period, like second, third acts kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just so people can get some music in there, live music in there.
Yeah.
It's virtual. This isn't the same, I mean, we've had ideas of taping off the floor where here's your dance spot. You get 5 minutes, and then here comes the next guy. I don't know. And right now it's so far off that I think it's kind of, I don't want to get ahead of myself, because.
Yeah.
Well, I think you guys are doing all the right things, and I've been loving seeing all the support for the Mousetrap and some of the other local venues. So I think you guys are doing everything you can right now.
Yeah, we're working hard. We're trying.
So, Mike, what would you say? What would you say is the one thing that you guys have really been focusing on to try to weather this storm? And you guys have been doing a lot, and staying active on social media and just kind of keeping top of mind with the venue. But what do you think's been the one thing that you guys have been really doing well or focusing on to kind of weather this storm?
Well, our food, absolutely. It's our food. That's that's all we have. That's, we're able to, have carry out beer and wine and stuff like that. That's a bonus. But I think like a lot of places, the places that are able to do it, that's what we've done. We're trending some family meals like fried chicken and lasagnas and stuff like that. And then, Uber Eats we have Uber Eats. We never thought we'd have Uber Eats in the mousetrap, but do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Nothing against Uber Eats. I'm just saying I didn't think we'd have any delivery service. It's just not our thing. But we had to just redefine what we do for now. And then as things ease up or whatever, we'll just redefine as we go. And we just got to evolve like everyone else. We're just constantly evolving and trying to keep up.
Do you have an idea or a hope on when you think that we'll be somewhat back to? When do you think you'll have the next concert or event there? What would be your hope? I know there's no way to tell.
I would hope for June, but I don't think so. I don't think that's possible. I don't know, man. It's really a sad thing. I don't want to speculate either because I don't want to say something. No, I don't.
It's hard. No, I totally get it.
Strange world.
Day by day kind of thing right
so
now.
It's completely safe. There may be George can open all they want. I'm not opening until we're safe, until my customers are safe. I mean, that's part of the love and the exchange of love and respect among us is that I wouldn't put anybody in that position. So.
No, I love that. Yeah,
I'll say.
Yep. I mean, it kind of goes with the theme. You're staying closed for your people, and
we opened. We closed down a couple of days before the government closes down, and based out of one of our biggest potential weekends of the year, definitely one of the biggest.
Yeah.
And it was because some things are more important.
Right. Exactly. So if when we come back, and I know that your schedule is probably all jammed up and screwed up, just like everybody other venue. But when we come back, regardless of when it is, what do you want to see, or what do you expect, or maybe have something planned as your first event or band back?
Well, I would think my first band I would really love to have back is High Rider. And then, I mean, that's what they're the Grateful Dead cover band and tribute band around town.
Staple.
One of the best in the world. And that's our staple band right now, Other than that, we've had ideas through the village, the venue association about doing a free week of music all over the city. So Monday through Friday or Monday through Sunday, whatever it's going to be, doing free music for everyone.
That would be cool.
I think we might have locked up. So
that'll be an awesome day. That will be an awesome day for sure.
Yeah. So there'll be lots of other ideas. Believe me, we got to get the musicians paid, and that's a big thing. So we're trying to get people that are willing to sponsor some shows so the venues can afford to put them on for free so we can get people out there that are maybe a little hesitant to come back out in the world, and then get some money in these musicians' pockets so they can continue to do what they're doing. We can't have everybody get a real job.
Are you familiar with what the Indianapolis Arts Council did with their kind of stimulus package?
A little bit, yeah.
So we've been trying to get that word out there too. I mean, that's not a huge help, and it probably won't put money in every musician's pockets, but it's cool to see Indianapolis thinking about the art scene for sure, So before we kind of wrap up, is there anything you kind of want to say? I mean, we've got tons of followers on this thing. Social media, we have been getting out there. So thanks for everybody that's been watching.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd say thanks for everybody that's been supporting us. We've got a lot of them, and I can't thank you enough. Continue to do it and continue to support other small restaurants. Keep away from not to keep away from the chains, but support independent restaurants, independent venues. We need it more than anybody. The other ones can get bailed out a lot easier than us. Yeah. So keep doing what you're doing, guys. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, it's great talking to you, Mike. I can't wait to give you a big old hug when we're allowed to.
We will.
And you guys doing the whole Mousetrap crew and all the regulars, all the fans of music. It's just a big family, and we can't wait to get back there.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Can't wait.
Well, Mike, have an awesome rest of your day. Thanks again for being on our show.
Thank you very much.
We'll have you again on once we reopen. We'll have you back on the show, and we'll talk about what it's like then.
All right, yeah. I'll be shaving.
All right, cool. See you, Mike.
See you, Mike.
All right, that was sweet. It's exciting to see people really just thinking about getting through this and not just sticking their head in the sand,
Yeah, they've been creative. They're pushing the limits of what they could do, and I really hope. I think they're going to survive this whole thing. There's some businesses that I don't think will survive, but they've got a huge following. Like I said, man, get out there and support those local businesses.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, let's get caught up on some local real estate. Some really interesting stuff that's been going on. So, in the last 7 days, there have been 504 new listings come on the market, which is a good amount more than the previous week. So, listings are starting to come on the market a little bit more. In the last 7 days, there have been 953 homes penned.
Wow.
A lot more from the previous week. I want to share with you guys. I shared this on the first episode when this all started going down a couple of weeks ago, and our showing service actually tracks the amount of showings. So it kind of gives us a graph on showing traffic. Well, they've been tracking kind of how COVID-19 has been affecting us. So if you can see this graph, this is right when COVID-19 was basically shutting everything down. So this is when, what was it, April, March? I remember it was like March 13th is when they came out and said, guys, you can't go to the office anymore. I think that was when the first really official executive order, it was around that time, came out, and showings started dropping off like crazy. So this blue line really just shows what an average showing traffic would be. We usually see it all ramp up. From March to April, we are in our hot spring market, and then it dies off a little bit as we kind of get into the summer months. It takes a little bit longer for sellers to get their house on the market if they kind of start thinking about it a little bit, earlier on in the year and not planned as much as some sellers did the year prior. So we see these ups and downs, but this is the COVID-19 track. I mean, it just almost all but fell off. But if we look at since April 12th, it really started kicking back up. And so we are getting pretty close to being back to kind of our normal speed of a spring market. So this is a great sign. I was super excited to see this trend here today. There's some talk about this going back to, this could come back to us in the fall. But I think that the real estate community and everybody around us has now got a lot of things in place where we're not going to see this sort of a drop off, I don't think. I think it'll be present. We'll have issues that we've got to deal with. We'll maybe have more forms that we've got to sign. There's a new form out there. If you guys haven't been looking at houses, or if if you're thinking about selling your house and it's not on the market, for sellers and for buyers, there is a COVID-19 disclosure form where buyers have to sign this form before they enter the home. Sellers are putting this out for anybody that's wanting to come into the house, whether it's inspectors, appraisers, or whoever. I could see that getting a little bit more lax as this thing dies off, but we've got the forms in place. So if it comes back, we can put those right back in place. People signing them, keeping people safe, feeling comfortable going into houses. But nobody had masks and gloves, and the title companies and lenders were not prepared for this when it hit. So the good news is that they've all adapted. They've all changed. They all have things in place now so that if this comes back, which, who knows, we'll be prepared for it. So real estate market is coming up.
That's awesome.
Talking about new construction's kind of been a hot topic the last few weeks. So I don't know if many people know this, but it's around 30 to 35%, and it could be even more now. At least 30% of our building materials that we use for new construction comes from overseas, comes from China. With the tariffs and a lot of things that are going on, it's caused delays, it's caused some price increases, but the demand for new construction's totally dropped off since this whole thing's happened. The COVID-19, I keep saying this thing, it's the COVID thing. The demand's dropped off just across the board for making a move. New construction's prices are going up just a little bit. They kind of have to, because the cost of materials are going up, right? They got to have some margin to be able to make some money. So with that being said, all I really wanted to say about new construction is, guys, if you're thinking about buying a new construction home, it's still a good time to do it. Interest rates are still super, super low. Money is about as cheap as you can get, but it doesn't cost you anything to have a real estate agent represent you when you're building a new home.
Yeah.
I spoke with a good buddy, past client of mine. They went and built a house. I wasn't involved with the building process. And when I called them today to check in with them, they've got some issues and they've got some problems that to me sound like they're issues due to just cutting some corners, not putting insulation in some walls, not following through on what they said, and not coming back to make things right. And so it's always tough after you built the house and you bought the home and you moved in to go back to the builder and try to get them to do something. Guys, that's what us real estate agents are here for. We're here to go to bat for you. We're here to fight for you to make sure that the builders are taking care of you like they're supposed to, and you guys have a good experience. So new construction, it's still out there. Make sure that you got an agent representing you. The market's coming back up. So I think it was all good news today. More listings are coming on, more pendings. And you and I have been out. We can feel it. People are ready to get out and make a move. People have been saving money. Yep. People have been saving money. They're ready to go.
Yeah.
So
Getting sick of being inside and they want to get out. And a lot of people are like, you know what? I've spent so much time in this house. I really don't like it anymore.
I think they're starting to realize that they might need a bigger house. I think their housing needs.
Space. Get me out of here.
Yeah, housing needs are going to change.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely need a basement now. 3-car garage.
Yeah. She shed.
Close to a bar.
Really close to a bar.
Really close to a bar.
Well, no, I think speaking about, the new construction thing, one thing that you may not think about if you do decide to go do a new construction is you can have those homes independently inspected. That's something I always recommend. It's a good chance to have a set of trained eyes that, a third set of eyes that's looking at the project. And sometimes they can kind of spot some things and go to the builder and handle that for you and do those difficult conversations that you don't have to have with the builder. So something to consider. I think
you've inspected what, thousands of homes, right? And new construction
probably
homes.
2,500 plus homes.
So out of the new construction homes that you've inspected, how many of those had zero problems?
0. Every new construction I've ever inspected had some sort of issues. Most of them have been small. The most common thing I would find would be some storm damage, in the process of building, and just kind of pointing out some roof issues that happened from a storm. The second most common thing I've seen is they sometimes forget to put insulation in the attic. I've seen that 3 times. Well, once they said they haven't gotten to it yet. But,
sure.
There was one home where there was a client that I was working with. They were buying their second new build, and that was their big concern, is because they had bought a house. I won't say who the builder was, but they lived there for a year. The utility bills were crazy high. They couldn't figure it out. Brought in an inspector, and they go, guys, nobody ever put insulation in your attic.
Oh, my God.
That's why it's good to get an inspection done. But I think we're going to get into some DIY epic house fails, right?
It's my favorite. This is my favorite new segment. Seth, let's get caught up on some epic house fails.
Yeah, so I'm gonna share some pictures with you. Everything that I've got today these are actual pictures from inspections. And so I don't know if you can see the siding there. You see that all right?
Yeah, looks exciting. Looks pretty rough.
The neighbors next to them had a ton of yard ornaments and a bunch of those yard globes.
Yeah.
And at a certain time of day, the sun would shine on those globes and start to warp and melt the siding on the house next door.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it looks like it'd been doing that for like a year or more.
Wow. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Does that have to do with like the quality of the siding? Is that just like a cheap vinyl, or is all vinyl the same vinyl?
It was pretty much like your standard vinyl siding, but just the position of the globes and how close they were to the house and how many of them there were. That sun just reflected off just perfectly and would start to melt and warp the siding. It was funny because they didn't really know what was causing it until somebody was actually out there and saw it as it was happening.
That is crazy. That reminds me of, I think it was a new casino that was built in Las Vegas, and it had this really cool kind of curved kind of shape to it. And the curved part of it faced the west, and they had a pool on that side, and people would go out to sit by the pool and be getting sunburnt in like 10, 15, 20 minutes. Like just getting fried, and nobody could figure it out. And it's because all the sun bouncing off that building and the pool and the water, there was just a lot of sunlight all focused in one spot.
Well, here's another inspection picture. I mean, I love ladder pictures. Which one can you see? Yeah. Let me see here. Bring this back up. I love this one. So somebody had put in a door for like an egress for the upstairs bedroom, and they'd be safe enough to just walk down the roof, and they just tied a ladder up to it. That had been there for years. I mean, long enough to where they were doing a bunch of roof repairs around where they mounted the ladder to it. I don't know. May have been like an Airbnb. It's like the cheap room for the Airbnb. That's what I was thinking.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I'd use the ladder.
That does not look safe at all.
No. Not at all.
Huh.
And the last one I got for us is for you car guys out there. I thought this was brilliant. Somebody obviously was a car guy. I don't know. Maybe they weren't a car guy.
Yeah, I love it, man.
The old Chevy hubcap fit perfect on this vent.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
I think it's perfect. I don't see anything wrong with it, really.
So, as a home inspector, would you mark that as satisfactory, fair, or poor?
I'd probably rate it as fair and just say, kind of keep an eye on it. I mean, they did a really good job mounting it. And obviously the roof needs some work, but water's not getting in. So somebody used a little bit of redneck ingenuity and got that situation taken care of.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Chevy.
That is hilarious.
That's all I got for us today.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in on another episode of Catching Up with the Catrons. We want to thank Mike Quarto from the Mousetrap. Again, if you guys are looking for some good food, a good carryout, swing by the Mousetrap. Support those guys. They do a lot for our local scene here. Really could use them. So stay tuned for another episode. We'll be back next week. And have an awesome rest of your day, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Catch you later.
Catch you later.
Catch you later.
Catch you later.